It's Monday, September 9. In the headlines, Prime Minister Andrew Holness reaffirms the rights of Jamaicans in states of emergencies. In business news, JMMB money transfer approved for near real-time Visa direct transfers. Regionally, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister launches 90-day anti-crime violence campaign. And in sports, Reggae Boys looking good despite a 0-0 draw against Cuba. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is reaffirming the rights of the citizens of Jamaica. This after the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, IACHR, expressed, quote, concern over Jamaica's continued use of states of public emergency, SOEs, end quote, in a recent publication. The Commission said it took note that the Jamaican government imposed an SOE for the parish of Clarendon on August 14 after a mass shooting in Cherry Tree Lane in the parish, which resulted in the deaths of 8 persons. IACHR says under the Jamaican Constitution, during an SOE, the government temporarily grants security forces additional powers, including warrantless searches, arrest, and detention. But in firing back at such statements on the government's crime-fighting methods, Mr. Holness says what is missing in the conversation is, quote, the respect for the rights of the victims, end quote. Adding, the Prime Minister on that point said, quote, no one speaks about the rights of the victims and families who have lost loved ones, end quote. Mr. Holness notes that government of developed countries often invoke extraordinary measures to address overwhelming crime issues without facing criticism from the international community. He was speaking at a ceremony held on the weekend in honor of retired Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey. Applications for sub-franchises of 6-stage carriage routes in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, KMTR, will open on October 1. Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport Daryl Vaz made the disclosure during last Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
Short via Halfway Tree to downtown Kingston. That would be for coaster buses. Barbican Halfway Tree to downtown Kingston. Coaster. Doheny Park to Halfway Tree downtown. Coaster. Whitehall to Halfway Tree via downtown Kingston. Coaster. Havendale to Halfway Tree to downtown Kingston. Coaster. Harborview Halfway Tree downtown Kingston. Coaster.
He also advised of plans to issue route taxi licenses for 11 KMTR routes.
With the proliferation of hackney carriage operators providing unauthorized route-type services, the offer by the Transport Authority for the conversion of the license will ease the burdens faced by commuters who are often overcharged to compensate for hackney fare rates. With the JUTC offering no objection, the Transport Authority has started, and the next sensitization will take place on September 18th, 24 at the William Grant Park in downtown.
Mr. Vaz urged illegal hackney carriage operators on these routes to convert their permits to route taxi licenses. The University of Technology Jamaica, UTech, has launched its UTech Open School of Lifelong Learning and Professional Development. The new school will serve as UTech's open learning platform, designed to meet the needs of communities across Jamaica and the Caribbean. Danita Rodney has the story.
UTech Open School, a rebranding of the UTech Academy, has been launched to offer expanded and innovative learning opportunities for students locally, regionally, and globally. At the launch, Director of UTech Open School, Dr. Sophia McIntosh, emphasized that the institution will serve as the university's open learning access entity, addressing the needs of learners who face barriers to higher education due to inadequate secondary preparation and other access challenges.
The school operates as an open learning access entity, serving the needs of communities across Jamaica, utilizing a range of modalities. Learners with limited access to higher education, UTech Open is the place for you.
In her welcoming statement, Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams, praised the university for its innovative efforts to broaden access to education.
This, for me, is a significant achievement and one that will have a life-changing impact on the students who will enroll here. Therefore, I must pause here to applaud you, Mr. President, and your team for your insightful intuitiveness and your vision, not just for this institution, but for Jamaica as a whole.
She noted that the launch marks the start of a transformative journey aligning with the government's broader vision for the education landscape.
Today, we mark not just the opening of a new arm of UTech, but the beginning of a transformative journey. This campus, along with the other locations that you mentioned, President, stand as a beacon of your commitment to education and the belief in the power of continuous personal and professional growth. It symbolizes a future where learning never ceases, where every challenge is an opportunity, and where every individual is empowered to reach their fullest potential.
The school is also focused on catering to experienced professionals in leadership roles seeking further development, as well as workforce members in need of upskilling and reskilling to stay competitive. For the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
Jamaica stamped its signature to the Marrakesh Treaty on August 28, 2024. The treaty is designed to facilitate access to published works for individuals who are blind, visually impaired, or otherwise print disabled. During her participation in a JIS think tank, Executive Director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, Lily Claire Bellamy, highlighted the importance of this treaty. Jamaica's ascension to the Marrakesh Treaty complements the recent amendment to the Copyright Act. Executive Director of JIPO, Lily Claire Bellamy, explains the significance of increasing access to written works for the disabled. She notes that the previous law would have required explicit permission from authors to convert printed books into accessible formats.
Basically, what it does is it allows for the creation of accessible format books without being an infringement of the Copyright Act. In our instance, in Jamaica, it would be an infringement of the Copyright Act because you're not supposed to, if somebody wrote a book and it is a printed book, you're not supposed to put it into another format without the permission of the author.
Ms. Bellamy informs that one of the critical components of the amendments made is the facilitation of cross-border exchange. The country's legislation also extends protection to individuals with hearing disabilities.
So what that means is, if, for example, and our neighbors to the north are both parties to this treaty, so both Canada and the United States, they have several works in accessible formats. So with a cross-border exchange, we're allowed now to import those books and it's not an infringement of copyright. So we have a wide, the famine now can be addressed fully because there are all these works that are available. And the World Intellectual Property Organization has an area called the Accessible Books Consortium. And under the Accessible Books Consortium, they facilitate this cross-border exchange.
She further emphasized that this treaty and the accompanying legislative changes demonstrate the Jamaican government's commitment to fostering inclusivity, aligning with Sustainable Development Goal number 10, which focuses on reducing inequalities.
The Copyright Act now has authorized bodies. So these are the bodies that are legally entitled and allowed to facilitate the cross-border exchange. So it's not just the ordinary person who can do the cross-border exchange. They have to go through one of these authorized bodies. So it is a system that has parameters in place. So it's not just a free riding system, but it is a safe system so that those who need to get access will have access.
The Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, administers intellectual property systems in Jamaica in the areas of trademarks, industrial designs and geographical indications, copyright and related rights, patents, and more. Mr. Milverton Reynolds, CD, is the new chairman of the Public Procurement Commission, effective July 5, 2024. Mr. Reynolds brings a wealth of experience and a distinguished career in public service to this role, with a strong background in finance and governance. Prior to this appointment, Mr. Reynolds held several notable positions in both the private and public sectors, the most recent being the Managing Director of the Development Bank of Jamaica. As chairman, Mr. Reynolds will oversee the activities of the Public Procurement Commission and guide its strategic direction. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. JMMB Money Transfer has received approval from the Bank of Jamaica for Visa Direct, a solution that offers near real-time money transfers and enables individuals to move funds between accounts linked to eligible Visa cards. JMMB Money Transfer Visa cardholders need to provide their card number to the sender. The sender can then visit the website of any of the following partners: MoneyGram, Remitly, and PaySend. Log in, enter the amount they wish to send, select the direct deposit option, and enter the recipient's JMMB Money Transfer prepaid Visa card number to complete the transaction. For the April to June 2024 quarter, Palace Amusement reported movie attendance by 107,000 patrons in the period, with 30,000 movie lovers, or 28% of the quarter's overall attendance for Bad Boys 4: Ride or Die. This was released on June 6th, and the synchronized launch of 4DX technology in Auditorium 4 at Carib 5 Cinnamon Crossroads, St. Andrew. Movies such as Inside Out 2 and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes made up the balance of movie attendance. In regards to the 4D seating, which moves the chair along with the action of the movie, the screen demand and interest for that 112-seat auditorium translated to 87% occupancy level. Overall, Palace Amusement earned a profit of approximately $72 million in June 2024. During trading for the period of September 6, 2024, the following companies represent the top 3 most active stocks that investors bought and sold on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Pharmaceutical and medical supplies distributor R.A. Williams Distributors Limited, with 3,100,250 units, represented 23.65% of the total market volume in terms of sales. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited, with 1,534,222 units, represented 11.70% of the market value in terms of sales. Investment firm Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial, with 1,122,461 units, represent 8.56% of the market volume in terms of sales. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies on the stock market, we turn to the Forex market. On September 6, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $39.21 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $52.43 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $158.39 and bought the US dollar for $156.75. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.64, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $3.20 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $118.85 and bought for $115.65. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $7.45, selling it for $209.20 and buying it for $201.75. For our credit report tip of the day, turning 50 often brings a renewed focus on securing your financial future. So if you're behind on retirement planning, leveraging your credit effectively can be a powerful tool to catch up. Consider these two strategies. First, check your credit report regularly. Start by reviewing your credit report to spot any errors or outdated information. Dispute inaccuracies to improve your credit score. Second, pay down high interest debt. Reduce high interest debt, particularly credit card balances. This lowers your credit utilization ratio and boosts your score. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed. Stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew on September 6 formally launched the National Consultations and 90-day campaign against crime and violence, with representatives of political parties from both islands being present. SKN Newsline has the details.
Making significant presentations at a launch event were Dr. Jeanetta Richardson, Professor of Public Health Policy at Windsor University, Senator Peter Bunton, a former Minister of National Security in Jamaica, as well as a representative of USAID, all providing data and context specific to the Federation. In his launch remarks, Prime Minister Drew said the data shows that if a holistic approach is not undertaken, the problem will not be resolved.
That is why you have had the problem over different political administrations. That is why I want to take the politics out of it. Because if we don't, we will never resolve the issue. So from my perspective, and I see from the perspective of other politicians as well, we have to work together to see how we can resolve this matter. And it takes all of us who are here, even beyond the politics. Law enforcement alone cannot do it, but they must do their part. But we as a society have to come up with the solutions. But when I look at the data, and I examine the data from my own professional background, there is a lot of hope right here. Because with the data, it means that we have the issues, the causes. We can define very precisely what is the problem. And if you can diagnose the problem, it gives you a great opportunity to come up with the solution. And so when you look at the presentation from USAID to assure us the gangs and where they are and so forth, they approached me and I told them, of course, we need this type of analysis and study in St. Kitts and Nevis and should have no influence at all from the government, because I wanted a very objective view of what is taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis. And again, the presentation does not surprise us a lot, but at least it confirms some of our suspicions as to what is taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I want to say officially and to launch from this point onwards the 90-day campaign against violence and crime, and to say that there will be a number of activities that would involve all of us, and to also say that from my perspective, this will never ever become an issue only when we see a flare in violent crimes, but that it will be a staple on the table when it comes to policies.
According to the Prime Minister, necessary resources will be provided for instituting programs and policies. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
The 5 regional health authorities of Trinidad and Tobago have received new oncological diagnostic and imaging machines from Phoenix Park Gas Processors Limited. On Saturday, the Northwest Regional Health Authority received their donation at St. James Medical Complex at a launch and handing over ceremony.
Minister of Health Terence Dial Singh said the MRI unit is a very powerful diagnostic imaging tool. Also being donated to the Cancer Radiotherapy Center is a CT simulator with respiratory gating and an oncological PAC system. He said the additional equipment will enhance cancer treatment in the public healthcare sector.
And I want to again remind this country that you don't need insurance to access healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. You don't need insurance to access any of these equipment. Because if we go back to the foundations of public healthcare, it speaks about a country providing healthcare to its citizens at no cost, especially to the financially disadvantaged.
President of Phoenix Park Gas Processors Limited, PBCJPL, Dominic Rampersad, said the donation forms part of PBCJPL's Gift to the Nation corporate social responsibility program.
It's a donation from the heart and soul of the employees of PBCJPL, but it also is reflective of the benefit that this country receives from the natural gas resources that are produced in Trinidad and Tobago. Because as we always say, while other people may want to take credit for our natural gas resources, the natural gas resources of this country belong to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and the first benefit must always be to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The company will also be contributing to the maintenance of the equipment with 3 years post-maintenance support.
We also contributed to the training of technicians, not by any and everybody, but it was the provider, General Electric, that provided the training.
Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Stuart Young urged corporate Trinidad and Tobago to follow suit. He said the state sector, through the energy sector, has been playing its role to give back to citizens in a responsible manner.
It is always important that we look after our brothers and sisters. And as a citizen, that is something that bothers me on a daily basis, that those who have more in our corporate society try and help those who have less, because the government cannot carry it alone. So when I see things like this and the CSR, even though it is a state enterprise, hopefully it will open up that confidence and that opportunity and that desire in other private sector companies.
According to the president of PBCJPL, the donation was done at a cost of approximately $10 million. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TTT News.
61 students, including 11 from St. Lucia, have benefited from Unicom's 2024 scholarships. Unicomer and Courts, a brand of the group, pledged $13,000 supporting the education of employees across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. More from HTS News Force.
Unicom, in collaboration with Courts, a brand of the group, presented scholarships to deserving students of its employees who topped various primary and secondary examinations. The parents of these students were commended for their role in helping their children excel academically.
There are a couple of you that I'm seeing here for the 6th time, and that is amazing. It means that you continue to work hard. It means that you see education and discipline as a part of your everyday life, and this is not done without the input of the parents. For a parent to come to work from morning at 8 o'clock to get home at 5 o'clock and to still focus on their kids and ensure that the homework is done and they have a hot meal and they wake up in the morning. It takes time.
A former scholarship recipient and OECS Human Capital Director underscored the importance of scholarship initiatives in shaping the lives of students.
If it wasn't for that scholarship, I would not have been able to be where I am today. So for me personally, and for us here at Unicom, we see the value in scholarships and scholarship programs like this, and we will continue to support it because we see it not just as an expense on our balance sheet, but as a significant investment in our future as a society.
Unicom representatives vowed to continue supporting the education of their employees' children, provided that the students perform well at school.
A company like Unicom, we will stand behind our employees' children as long as they continue to produce. The scholarship program will take you as far as you want it to take you. So rest assured that if you keep performing every year, you will all be back here every year to receive this special scholarship.
Recipients extended thanks to the company for placing their faith in them.
Words cannot adequately express our appreciation. Your support has given us the confidence to continue striving for excellence in our studies and future careers. We promise to make the most of this opportunity and work hard to achieve all our goals. Lastly, we would like to thank our families, friends, and mentors who have supported and encouraged us throughout our journeys. Your guidance and belief in us have been invaluable, and we wouldn't be here without you today. Once again, we want to thank you for this incredible support. We promise to work hard, make you proud, and carry forward the values of excellence, leadership, and service that this scholarship represents.
In sports, we begin with football. Friday's match between Jamaica's Reggae Boys and Cuba ended with a goalless draw by 10-man Cuba in their opening CONCACAF Nations League game at the National Stadium. The Reggae Boys dominated the game, getting off 21 shots, 7 on target, as the Cubans failed to get off a shot on target but were forced to share the points. Staying with football, Derek King's first match in charge of the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team ended with a heavy 4-0 defeat at the hands of Honduras in their opening match of the CONCACAF Nations League.
The Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team opened their CONCACAF Nation League campaign with an away visit to Honduras in their League A Group B match. Honduras got the first chance of the night courtesy a free kick that was struck straight at Denzel Smith. Real Gill created TNT's first chance with his effort blazing over its mark. TNT then got their first effort on target when Rion Moore found Ryan Telfer, who turned and shot, only to be denied by the defender. Honduras kept coming close with a couple of long-range strikes.
Lopez, shot again!
It was the hosts who would open the scoring in the 39th minute when a deflected bullet of a shot by Alexander Lopez flew past Smith to make it 1-0 Honduras. Lopez turned provider when he teed up Kervin Arriaga, whose low shot from outside the box made it 2-0 to Honduras going into half-time. The hosts nearly made it 3 in the second half, but the Edwin Rodriguez effort was disallowed by the official. Rodriguez would eventually make it 3-0 when he evaded Andre Raymond to get on the end of this cross. David Ruiz Ochoa sealed the victory for Honduras when his curling effort evaded the clutches of Smith, as Trinidad and Tobago opened their Nation League campaign with a 4-0 defeat against Honduras. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. And do remember, we are the People's Station.